govern yourselves accordingly. Hold on a second. Ms. Bridgewater, read that first one for me, please.
Kayan Burnett. Charges are giving false information to law enforcement officer. Second charge is willful obstruction of law enforcement officer. Third charge is simple assault. And then the fourth charge is giving false name, address, or birthday to law enforcement officer.
What is that case number, please?
It is 23 CR 00617-1E.
All right, pretrial.
This defendant has a total of 5 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia and Florida. The last arrest was June 30th of this year out of Gwinnett for battery, theft, and possession of stolen mail. No felony convictions. Nothing further to report.
All right, State.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at 759 Atlanta Student Movement in Atlanta. We don't have the full report yet. However, based on the warrant, it states that the defendant took a fighting stance against the victim in this case, whose name is Imara. That's MEARA, last name Howell. And it intimidated the victim and she felt threatened. When asked for her name, the defendant gave a false name and date of birth to the officer, and she also refused commands of that officer. Your Honor, as you've heard from pretrial, this defendant does have an open case. It is a battery from out of Gwinnett, and it's for this year, as well as a theft by stolen mail. So she does present a risk of reoffending and is a danger to the community. The state's recommendation on this case is a $2,500 surety bond. That's $1,000 on the simple assault and $500 on the remaining charges. A stay away if she is not a student, no contact with the victim, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right. PD Apton.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 22 years old. She was born in Atlanta, has lived here her whole life. She graduated from Morrow High School. She has an associate's degree from Albany University and a bachelor's degree from Tennessee State. She was taking courses temporarily at Clark in biology. She does plan to go to medical school and become a doctor. It's my understanding that she would not have an issue with a stay away from the university for now during the pendency of this case, Your Honor, and no further contact with the complaining witness. As you've heard from the state, the allegations are sparse. I did speak with my client. She does firmly deny the allegations, Your Honor. I understand she does have a criminal history, but she's not a danger. She will return to court to see this case through. She is gainfully employed, Your Honor. She has 3 jobs at this moment, but she does still qualify for the public defender's office to represent her in this case after today. Her indigency is a concern, and setting a bond today, Your Honor, would mean no bond at all. And so I am requesting a signature bond for my client. And as I've stated, we do not object to a stay away or no further contact.
All right. And tell me again, what's the relationship between the defendant and the victim?
Does not know the victim.
No, does not. Okay, it's random. No.
That's my understanding.
All right. You have anything else? ASG, sorry.
Judge, I don't have the actual relationship. We are still waiting on the report. However, it might appear that the victim may be a student.
They're both students, or?
So my client is not currently enrolled in the school, so she would be okay with not going back.
All right, I'm going to order the $2,500 surety bond, $1,000 on the simple assault and $500 on all the others. The other charges, the 3 charges. I'm going to order a stay away from incident location, actually in sort of the peripheral areas around the perimeter. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim. no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that will be it. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Nothing from defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Position 5, Holland.
Okay. This is 23 CR 006170F. Patience Holland, charge of 1 count of battery family violence, 2nd count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, pretrial.
And Your Honor, I apologize. This is a co-defendant case, I believe, and I am representing the patients.
It's a cross-defendant case.
Okay, and which number is the cross defendant?
That would be position 2.
2.
And Ms. McLeod is representing that one.
That is correct, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right, got it. And pretrial on position 5, Ms. Holland.
This defendant has 7 arrest cycles in Georgia. The last arrest was February the 21st of 2015 out of Atlanta for driving while license suspended or revoked. And they do meet the criteria for UJR through pretrial. Nothing further.
All right, thank you. State.
Got our brief facts of the case. As we heard, that this is a cross-defendant case. Essentially, the facts are that the cross-defendants were in a verbal dispute about life issues that turned physical. Holland reported that the defendant slapped her. She punched him afterwards. Defendant reported it was reported that Holland hit him in the face with a cologne bottle or some sort of unknown object, some sort of unknown glass object. The victim also sustained bleeding to his face, and Holland sustained a laceration to her finger. The incident took place in front of a minor age child. That is the indicia for the cruelty to children in the 3rd. Your Honor, the recommendation from the state is going to be a $5,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with both victims. In this case, the first victim being the cross defendant, the second victim being a minor child, initials E and D. A stay away from the incident location, that incident location being 600 Hank Aaron Drive, Southeast Atlanta, and Family Violence Intervention Program. And we just also like to point out that there is a 2006 simple battery in Fulton County conviction.
All right. PD Abden.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 37 years old. She's lived in Georgia her whole life. She graduated from Washington High School. She then went to Lawrence Technical and got a certificate as a medical assistant. She is enrolled. She was enrolled in Georgia State part-time studying business administration, but she had to take a break when she had her baby and plans on returning to school. She's gainfully employed. She works as a patient coordinator at Piedmont Healthcare in Atlanta in the transplant unit. She's also in the process of starting 2 businesses, Your Honor, a towing business and an online clothing store. She has a 2-year-old child. She doesn't have a lot of support and assistance here in Georgia. She has her mother who is sick. And so her and the cross defendant, Mr. Davis, are the only caretakers for this child, Your Honor. And so I am asking you to take that into consideration when setting bond today. My client tells me that they had a lot going on. It was a heated disagreement. They've never had any past instances of violence, and they've been together for the past 10 years, Your Honor. And it's my understanding that neither one of them is afraid of the other. And so I am requesting no further violent contact, Your Honor. As I've stated, there's nobody else to care for this child. And they've been working together, co-parenting. It's also my understanding that they do want to work this amongst themselves. And as my client, although my client is working, her indigency is a concern. And so I am requesting that she get a signature bond through the jail, given her familial obligations to the child. Pre-trial would be difficult for her, and she is recommended. And if Your Honor is not inclined, a maximum of $300. That's all she can afford at this time.
All right. I will order the $5,000 signature bond through the jail. I will order no further contact with the cross defendant, Mr. Davis. And no further contact at this time with the child, ED. So I'm not going to order any visitation or anything. I'm going to order no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no guns while on bond. And this incident location, whose home is it, or whose?
Your Honor, it's my understanding they were in the car.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
just a
so
random address.
they would be okay with staying away, but I don't know if that is necessary at this time.
Right. And I don't know, we need to do that, right? Because that'd be a little contradictory. But if they're supposed to be staying away from each other, no further contact, then that is essentially a stay away from each other's residences if they don't reside together. If they do, then they need not reside together. And I think that'll be it for now.
Judge, will you break that mine down? There are 2 charges.
Oh, okay. With the 5,000, I believe that's 3,000 on the battery, 2,000 on the cruelty.
Okay.
And I think that'll be it for that case.
Judge, is it through pretrial or through the jail?
I'm sorry, through the jail.
Thank you. Okay, you done.
Okay.
Position 2, Davis.
Okay. This is 23 CR 006172E Eros Davis, charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, and 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd retrial.
This defendant has 10 arrest cycles in Georgia. The last arrest was August the 18th of 2020 out of Fulton County. That case is still open. Case number is 22 SC 185453. 3 FTAs, nothing further to report.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. As you've heard regarding the facts, they're the same as the cross-defendant case. I would also like to point out that 2020 case that's open, it is for possession of a firearm during a felony, false imprisonment, ag assault, and armed robbery. So, Your Honor, this defendant has an open felony and he has picked up another violent offense. He does present a risk of reoffending and intimidating the victim. The state's recommendation is a $7,000 surety bond. That's $5,000 on the battery family violence, $2,000 on the cruelty, no contact with the victim, third-party transfer of the minor child, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor, good afternoon.
Good
My
afternoon.
client is 36 years old, Your Honor. I have not heard pre-trial say that he has any convictions on his record, just arrests. And as we all know, arrests are not the same as convictions. He tells me that this incident happened where he and the mother of his child, they got in an argument in the car, and he was struck in the eye. I believe he had to go to the hospital. He does deny that he struck her. He was taken to Grady Hospital, Your Honor, because his eye was injured. My client tells me that he really doesn't have a lot of money for bond. So given the fact that the cross defendant was given a signature bond, Your Honor, I would ask the court to do the same for my client, and it can be conditioned on the same terms. He had indicated to me that he would have preferred no further violent contact. But of course, the court has already ruled that there would be no contact between them. So we are okay with that as well.
All right, since it just happened yesterday, that's why, maybe less than 24 hours. And I am concerned about, this defendant's, history and the, allegations with the case. So there's certainly, will be a little difference between the two of them. I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond, 3,000 on the battery, 2,000 on the cruelty, but his will be a surety bond for 5,000. I'm going to order a no further contact with the cross defendant, the mother, and the child, no contact with the two of them, so there will be no visitation since the child is a victim in the case as well. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond, and that will be it.
Your Honor, I believe the court also ordered the mother not to have any contact with the child. The child is only 2 years old.
Well, not the mother, but the father.
Okay, but you did say mother too.
I did. I
Yes.
didn't mean to say, yeah, sorry about
Okay.
that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, sorry, just to clarify, Ms. Holland can have contact with the minor child?
Yes, I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
about that.
No, it's okay, thank you.
Mr. Davis, please put your hands down. If you have a question, you can give me a call and I'd be happy to address it.
She said, I had a call. Position 8, Mr. Ross.
Huh? This is 23 CR 006176A, Maceo Ross, charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of law enforcement officer and 2nd count of disorderly conduct, 3rd count of criminal trespass. Pre-trial.
This defendant doesn't have any criminal history to report.
All right. State.
Your Honor, the brief facts of this case is, one moment. On October 11, 2023, officers were dispatched to the incident location regarding a suspicious person. The officers were advised the defendant was trying to get inside of girls' rooms by pulling on doors and handles. Students advised the defendant ran out of the side of the building. The victim, in this case, advised the defendant followed her and her other female student friend or other female students outside of the dorm in a gray Nissan. She also advised that he was trying to force the female students into his vehicle. A separate student witness, William Moore, advised that he saw the defendant at the incident location, that incident location being Clark, Atlanta, specifically the dormitory located at 129 Mildred Street, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia, at the incident location. And the defendant stated that he was going to take his BITCH. The defendant himself told the police that he was on campus trying to get some explicatives, also referred to as, the female genitalia, and that he was followed out of the building while trying to force himself into female students' rooms, Your Honor. Respectfully, Your Honor, with additional investigation, the state believes that these can potentially be felony charges, but the recommendation from the state at this time is going to be a $5,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim in this case, the victim being Tori Blue. And if after this we can sound for her, that'd be great. And a stay away from Clark Atlanta as a whole, and a psychosexual evaluation as a result of this. Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right. PD Abdul.
Oh, actually, Your Honor, this is my case.
Oh, I'm sorry, PD Kim.
Mr. Ross. And I'm kind of shocked by the description of the way the warrant is written. That is totally different from what my client says. He is 22 years old. He graduated from high school successfully 2020, about 2.5 years ago. And he is a student at Southern University. He's a sophomore there. And Your Honor, his job is a Uber Eats delivery. So he delivers food to different places, and he was doing that at that night as well to get some extra cash for his education. He makes about $20 a day. It's not much, but it is very helpful for him to pursue his education. And Your Honor, we deny the allegations, and there was no intention of any of those, and we would like to request for signature on bond. He is recommended. This is his first arrest ever, and I don't think it should be considered as a felony at all. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I'd just like to point out that Clark Atlanta is located in Atlanta, Georgia, whereas Southern University is located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, unless they're on a fall break.
Georgia Southern University, Your Honor.
Oh, Georgia Southern. Okay.
Yeah.
Still, that's how many miles away?
It's quite
Georgia
a bit.
Southern is, yeah.
He's
So he
just-
was just here working for the weekend. I don't know. They may be on, I know some of the regular school secondaries on fall break, but I don't know about the Georgia Southern. All right. Well, I'm very concerned about the allegations for these young ladies on the campus.
Yes, the state believes it's criminal attempt to commit kidnapping and burglary.
I think that's really too far, Your Honor.
Well, the key is he doesn't go to school there. He shouldn't have been in the female dorm.
Pulling at the door handles, attempting to get inside, and trying to force them in his vehicle.
Wow.
Your Honor,
And
that
we only have the one victim, but it weren't able, I guess, later in your investigation, you may get some of the
Right, and I just want to go ahead and point out that he himself admitted to the activity to the officer, which is listed in the warrant. He also admitted to being there for the purposes of getting female genitalia.
Your Honor, we did not have any evidence to back up or review those kind of stuff. Mr. Ross, unless it is directly related, you will have your day of trial to defend yourself. So we do not want to get into too much facts.
It's directly related. They said I tried to kidnap somebody in my car. You must have confused with somebody else. I don't even have a car. I deliver on foot. So how am I gonna kidnap somebody in a car that I don't own? I don't even own a vehicle. So that's crazy to me. I don't know.
So we will have another day. He is presumed to be innocent, and I think ASG Brandon Thomas is going a little too far with a very hint of the facts. We didn't have any chance to review any of the evidence, Your Honor.
but he's reading from the warrant.
Directly from the warrant.
So the warrant has been sworn out by the officer. I'm very concerned, and I want the students at Clark Atlanta, the area has had a lot of things going on there. So I'm very, very concerned. I am, even though he's recommended, I'm not going to give a signature bond at this time. I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond, just based on some of the Ayala factors, and the main one being that even if he's here, which I can't understand unless he's not in school this semester, why he's here doing DoorDash or Uber Eats from a school that's several hours down the road. You know, I don't know. And I know it'll be sorted out later, but I'm going to order a surety bond so that he can go through a bonding company. And I'm going to order him to stay away from Clark Atlanta University. And I'm going to go a little farther and include the whole university center there, which is the Triangle, Spelman, Morehouse, and Clark, the AU Triangle there. Since he's not a student, he doesn't need to go there. If he makes bond and he's doing deliveries, he just can't take you. I mean, you know what you're doing before you make the delivery. So whatever that zip code is over there and those addresses around the whole AU center, he's not to go over there to make any deliveries at all. No further contact with the victim, Miss Bloom, or you know, any of the other women there at the AU center. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I was inclined almost to order the psychosexual, but I won't do it. I don't know if he can afford it at this point, but I'm sure there will be talk of that later.
And Your Honor, if we can just, for Marcy's law's sake, just sound briefly for the victim.
Oh, I'm sorry. Miss Bloom, Tori Bloom.
Blue, Miss Blue.
Oh, Blue. Tori Blue. No. All
Thank you, Your
right.
Honor.
But I want him to be very clear. He's still trying to talk that he cannot go over to the AU center. He cannot do any deliveries over there if he makes bond. And right now, I think just for the caution and safety and to make sure that, you know, he's clear on his parameters, I'm going to order a $5,000.
He has
surety
3
bond.
charges. Will you break it down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Let's see, on the, hold on, I went past the case. And that was position 8, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, on the willful obstruction, 2,000, on the criminal trespass, 2,000, and 1,000 on the disorderly. And that's all right now for this case.
Position 7, O'Hara.
This is 23 CR 006177B, Charles O'Hara, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, a 2nd count of criminal trespass and damage to property. Pretrial.
This defendant has 27 arrest cycles in Georgia. Felony conviction in 2003 for possession of controlled substance, 2008 arson, 2012 forgery. The last arrest was April the 3rd, 2017 out of Gwinnett for a probation violation. There's 1 FTA and 7 probation violations. Nothing further to report.
Okay.
Your Honor, before I begin, I just want to say that this is effectively a felony transfer. essentially there's just issues with the paperwork for the felony conviction, for the underlying battery family violence conviction. Specifically, that's 04CR295173. But the brief facts of the case, Your Honor, is that on looks like March 21st, 2023, officers were dispatched to a dispute call at the incident location, that incident location being 1595 Archer Street, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, here in Fulton County, Georgia. The
I
victim
don't mean
advised
to
that
interrupt you. Is it 22 or 23?
23. I believe it's 23. Oh, 22. Sorry, the report was wrong.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
22 officers were oh yes, so victim advised that she was in a verbal dispute with her boyfriend, the defendant. The dispute became physical once the defendant struck her with a closed fist to the face, leaving a bruise on her right cheek. Prior to leaving the location, the defendant also punched her 48-inch television while in a rage, causing the TV screen to shatter. Officer was able to observe that wound. I believe our office has gotten in contact with the victim in this case. She advises that they no longer live together, and I believe she states that she does not want any contact and she would like a stay away. And if at this time, after the state's request, we can sound for the victim in this case, Erica, ERICKA Smith. But the state's recommendation, given the pendency of that transfer and a 2017 simple battery family violence conviction under the DeKalb, the state's request is a $3,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with that victim, a stay away from that victim's home, and a family violence intervention program completion. And if at this time we can sound for the victim, Miss Erica Smith.
All right, Erica Smith. All right, go ahead, PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Charles O'Hara, is actually 42 years old, Your Honor. And I believe he is gainfully employed as a chef. Right now, he's working for a new company and he really wants to get out and, get back to work. He does not want to lose his job. He also worked for Longhorn Steakhouse for 7 years. And yet this new job, he has been working there for 3 months. So he does not have that long history with this employer. So it's very important for him to go back to report to the job. He denies the allegation, and yet, Your Honor, please consider that this happened more than 1.5 years ago. And my client has no objection to stay away and no further contact with Erica Smith. And he just wants to return to normal life. He has a rooming house situation since if he does not return back to the place shortly, he's afraid that he's going to lose his housing as well. He does not have much support system here. His father passed away not that long ago, and his mother is very old and disabled. So he is actually caring for his mother. Your Honor, we would like to request for signature on bond, and yet if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond because of his past history, that actually 2013 was the last battery charge that he had, other than probation violation on 2017, which was more than 10 years ago. So we would like to request for signature, $1,000 maximum good bond. Thank you.
Your Honor, I believe the victim, Ms. Smith, is on it with her camera activated and her microphone activated. So if we can give her an opportunity to speak, that'd be great.
All right.
Okay, I'm Erica
Hold on.
Smith.
Hold on for me. I need to swear
Okay.
you in first. First, I was going to ask you, wish to address the court, and I'm assuming that's a yes. And then
Okay.
raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, and you may go ahead and proceed.
Okay, I'm Erica Smith, and the allegations that were presented is correct. But I do want to say that Charles and I have had no contact, for the most part since the incident. And if he is granted bond, I still want to remain no contact with us And I also wanted to see if he could pay for the TV that he broke. And that's my only request.
All right. Ms. Smith, this is a bond hearing. And this is not the trial, and it's obviously not the resolution of your case. I
Okay.
usually am not inclined and do not order restitution at this point, and that is something to take up with the state and the victim witness advocate that you are in contact with, to make sure that they have that information so that as they move along with the case, they can present that to his attorney.
Okay.
But I do have down that you want no further contact with him. Are you still in fear of Mr. O'Hara?
No, I don't fear him, but I just don't want no dealings with him.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you. Any cross-examination?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
PD Kim?
Who bought the TV? Because my client claims that that TV was his TV.
I bought the TV with my credit card. So no, he did not buy any TVs in his home.
No problem.
Anything else, PD Kim?
Nope, nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. I am going to, at this time, order the $3,000 surety bond. And that's going to be $2,000 on the battery, family violence, and $1,000 on the criminal trespass and damage to property. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim. I'm going to order a stay away from her residence and also make sure that Mr. O'Hara remains 200 yards away from the victim. He is to not contact her by any means, email, telephone, any other third parties, and by no means or any other possibilities. He's not to contact her. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I believe that should be it. Counsel, did I leave out anything?
No, Your Honor. I just want to put for the record, her residence is the incident location for the purposes of the bond order.
Okay, so it is. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Smith. You can contact the victim witness advocate if you need additional services. All right, thank you.
Position 3.
Good afternoon.
This is 23 CR 006173D. Sabario Elapavalera, and I'm sure I've mispronounced that name. I apologize. Charged with 1 count of battery family violence, actually 2 counts of battery family violence. Pre-trial.
This defendant doesn't have any criminal history to report.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at 9545 Stoney, that's Stoney, Ridge Lane in Alpharetta. Officers were dispatched out regarding a domestic dispute. The defendant and the victim in this case, whose name is Saileela, same last name as the defendant, they were in a verbal dispute when it did escalate. During the argument, the defendant slapped the victim and pushed her to the ground, which caused her to hit her head. The defendant then slapped the victim 2 more times. The victim in this case, she sustained marks on her cheek as well as a knot on the back of her head. When officers spoke with the defendant, the defendant admitted that he did lose control and he slapped the victim. Our office did speak with the victim. She did confirm that the defendant slapped her. She stated that nothing like this has ever happened before, and she sought medical attention for the knot that was on the back of her head. She was medically cleared. She stated she's not in fear of the defendant and wants him to return to the residence. However, the state would recommend a no contact order due to this event just occurring this morning at 1:15 a.m. So we will argue there has not been a sufficient cooling off period. The recommendation is a $6,000 surety bond. That's $3,000 on each count. No contact with the victim, third-party transfer of any minor children, a stay away, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
All right.
And Your Honor, the victim is on the call if you can sound for her when appropriate.
All right. And the victim in this case is Miss Ella Valaru, and I apologize for mispronouncing your name. Do you wish to address the court today, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I see two people with that name. Yours is E. I was looking at the other one.
She's
So
our
who-
daughter,
How old is she?
23 years old.
Okay. All right. So let me swear you in. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Put your hand down for me. Are you in fear? Is this your husband?
Yes.
Okay. Are you in fear of him?
No, not at all.
And do you want to have further contact with him?
Yes, I want him home.
Okay. All right. Any other cross-examination questions from counsel?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing from defense, Your Honor.
All right. That's all I'll ask at this point, because again, this is just a bond hearing. This is not your trial in the case. So there will certainly be much more extensive hearings after this, okay? All right. Thank you. Go ahead, PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to request for his signature on bond. This is his first arrest ever. Mr. Valuru has been married to Mrs. about 25 years, and they have a special needs child who is 23 years old. And Your Honor, she needs a lot of help, and it is almost impossible to do all by herself. So Mr. Valuru is the one who also helps out medically. He is a doctor at intense care unit. He's been working there as a doctor for more than 15 years, and he has been a teacher and assistant professor for the last 23 years, Your Honor. And we would like to request for signature on bond. Thank you. And no further violent contact.
I'm a little concerned about the allegations. Although it is the first arrest. And is he a medical doctor?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, yes, Mrs. Ella Pavilaru.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to add to Ms. Kim's notes. We are married for 26 years this year, and this is the one only isolated incident that happened real fast. He's a very good husband, a very good father for both our daughters. We together took care of both our parents on both sides in our home until last year, December, my father-in-law passed away. Yesterday, my mom was in ICU, and he has not just helped with the family members, friends. During Christmas, we get so many notes and texts from patients. Actually, his nurses tell me if Dr. Subra is on the floor, they know they get top-notch care for the patients, and they're they're relieved. He's a teetotaler, kind man. That's what I want to add.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Elapa Valuru, I strongly recommend you to stay silent. This is not a trial. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you. So please do not say anything unless it is directly related to the bond.
All right. I am going to order a $8,000 signature bond. I'm going to order that signature bond through the jail. So that will be $4,000 on each of the battery charges. I'm going to order a stay away from the incident location. I believe he has the means, he can stay somewhere else. I'm going to order right now to make sure there is the ample cooling down period. No further contact with the victims, and can talk to or find out rather if PD Cam wants to file later for a modification of the bond conditions, but I do want to make sure that this is cooled down. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I'm going to order a one-day anger management course for the defendant to take. And I assume he has the means, it sounds like, to pay for it. But I want him to take a one-day anger management course as well. But right now, I do want there to be the separation and the stay away and no further contact. All right.
Quick question, Judge and Ms. Kim, if you're okay. I need to get back to work tomorrow. Can I pick up my stuff from home today, if I'm allowed?
Okay. That is a good point. Since you're getting a signature bond, you'll be out within 24 hours, give or take. But I will order a one-time police escort to go back to the property to retrieve your items. You need to schedule and arrange that with law enforcement. Do not go back alone, so that you can go and retrieve your items with the law enforcement escort.
Can I get back to work in the morning, Judge, because it's so important in the.
I have no control over the jail. I have no control over their release process, but they will start processing you today and get you out as soon as they can, because I have given you a signature bond.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Can he
Yes.
also third-party transfer for a child, even though she is an adult, because of her special needs? My client has been the one who has been supervising the seizure, the medical procedure about her daughter. I mean, his daughter. So can he have a third-party transfer?
I'm assuming that child was not a victim, so yes, I will allow third-party transfer of visitation with the special needs child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, we did not have her down as a victim at this
Can we
point.
put her name and not call her special needs child? I don't want to make a big deal of that. What is her name?
Deepika,
Spell that.
Deepika. Same last name.
Okay.
She's nonverbal, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
She's nonverbal. She can't talk.
She's nonverbal. Okay. But you would be okay if there's a third party that you all can identify that would help with the visitation, because it can't be you.
She needs both of us. That's what I was going to request. He actively participates in her medical care on a daily basis. She has extensive health needs. She's almost like a baby without no hand usage. So we do 100% full assist care for her. I won't be able to do it myself alone. And I need his participation to take care of her medically.
Do you work outside of the home?
No, ma'am, I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Okay. Well, you may have to get some other provisions temporarily, because I want to make sure there's going to be no more allegations of violence in the home. And there's not even been 24 hours since this event happened. So I want to make sure that we're beyond it. and that everyone understands that we can't have this to happen anymore, especially with the other conditions that you have going on in the home. So, maybe you can find someone else to help you while he's out of the home until we can ensure that everyone's going to be safe.
There is nobody, Your Honor. That's the issue. Everywhere it's short-staffed. People we hired, one caused a fracture of the leg, another one caused a severe injury to her shins. And they say they'll come, they don't show up. And so it's easier to just do it between us than wait. And she doesn't sleep at nights, seizures. It's a very complicated health condition that she deals with.
I understand if you have to go somewhere while he comes in to assist with her care, you can do that. But right now, I don't want the two of you to be together. I am concerned about the incident, the allegations. If it hadn't happened, I don't know who called the police or who did what, then we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't have to be discussing it. But I do have a duty to you and your children, your daughters, and especially Vivica, to make sure that you all are safe. And right now, I think that we need the separation, however that needs to go or look. If the defendant wants to pay for some additional care or caregivers or people to come in to help, he can do that, and maybe coordinate that with your other daughter who is an adult to help you in the meantime. But this will be a little bit of a separation period that I think everybody needs to make sure that the future will be safe and stable for everyone.
I also want to correct one allegation, Your Honor.
I'm not going to listen to any more allegation issues. That will be handled in another hearing, a later hearing in the case. This is just for bond purposes and the conditions that I need to put in place to make sure that all victims will be safe going forward. I'm not going to get into the details of the allegations right now. We're going by the warrant, which was sworn out by the officer as to his investigation. So I'm going to move on, and you can talk to the appropriate people later. And Mr. Alapavalera, I am not going to hear from you any longer. I've made my ruling, and you all will need to figure out how you can handle things in the interim. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Position 6, Jones.
This is 23 CR 006167D. Jordan Jones, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
This defendant has a total of 5 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia. And I think that's Missouri. Last arrest was out of Cobb County for a CWAC charge. October 10th of this year, and that case is still open. 1 FTA, nothing further to report.
Thank you. State.
Your Honor, the facts of this case is essentially that the victim advised on July 2nd, 2023, that she and her boyfriend, the defendant, were parked at the incident location, that incident location being 2399 Parkland Drive, Northeast Atlanta, Georgia, drinking alcohol. The victim advised that a verbal disagreement took place. She said at some point the defendant started throwing her belongings out of the driver's side window to the ground. The victim advised that when she went to retrieve her belongings, the defendant punched her in the left side of her face with a closed fist, knocking her back, causing her nose to bleed, her eye and cheek to swell, and a laceration to her left eye area. Victim provided officers with the officer with a photo of the injuries. We were actually able to get in contact with the victim. She corroborated the statements in the warrant. She also would like a stay away and a no contact. The recommendation from the state, given the open case, CWAC case, given the failure to appear and everything else, in totality is a $3,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim, a stay away from that incident location, which is her residence, and the completion of a family violence intervention program. And if at this time we can sound for Ms. Evan Smith, Evan spelled E-V-A-N, Smith traditional spelling, that'd be greatly appreciated, Your Honor.
All right, is Evan Smith on the Zoom? Evan Smith. All right, go ahead, PD admin.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 28 years old. He's lived in Georgia for almost all his life. He's originally from Florida and moved here when he was young. He just ended a seasonal job, Your Honor. It ended in August. He was doing piping and installation. He's currently self-employed and he has a clothing line. However, his indigency is a concern, and he is going to be represented by our office after today. He has one child. That child is 2 months old. The child is financially dependent on him. His girlfriend is working full-time, and that is not the complaining witness, Your Honor. It's my understanding that the relationship between the complaining witness and my client they're just friends. They've known each other for some time. So his girlfriend is working full-time, and so he's the only person who can care for the baby. And he spends every day caring for the baby and working on his clothing line. He works at home. It's my understanding that since the incident on July 3rd, the parties have reconciled, and that the complaining witness is not afraid of him. He would not object to a stay away or a no further contact. But given that his indigency is a concern, Your Honor, and that he's not a flight risk at this time, and there will be a no further contact and a stay away in place, I am requesting a signature bond for my client, and that is all. Oh, and I apologize. He also has a hold, Your Honor, and so he does need to go and deal with that later. And so, as I've stated, we are requesting a signature bond.
I didn't hear what county is the hold out of.
I think it's Henry County.
It's out of
but I'm
McDonough.
not sure. Yeah.
McDonough. Okay.
Okay.
And the open charge in Cobb, still open from 10/10/23, CWAC charge.
Yes, Your Honor, to my understanding, it is still open. He does have another attorney helping him with that case. He has not been convicted, Your Honor. It's an open case, so it is not a conviction. So I understand the court's concern. However, he's not a danger, and he will return to court to deal with this case.
I'm going to order a $4,000 signature bond through the jail only to be released to the hold in McDonough. If not, then he needs to come back around to the SAP calendar. If McDonough doesn't pick him up, he should not be released. I'm going to order stay away from the incident location. No further contact with the victim, Evan Smith. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That should be it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
And Your Honor, I believe that concludes my business with the court. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Pierre Thomas.
I was
I
okay with the
got it
same.
right today. He's okay with St. Thomas? Because I may be elevating you, right?
Have a good one.
All right, you too.
This is position 4, Henry.
Okay. This is 23 CR 006174E Curtis Henry charge of two counts of theft by taking, pretrial.
This defendant is a multi-state offender with arrests out of Missouri and Georgia. A felony conviction in 2018 for burglary, 2008 burglary and possession of tools for the commission of a crime, 2007 possession of tools for commission of a crime, entering auto, 2006 possession of cocaine with intent, felony convictions in 99 and 2003 for burglary. The last
I
arrest,
won't go back too
the
far
last-
back than that.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I couldn't hear you.
I said I won't go too much farther back than that.
Okay.
So 99 was your last one.
The last arrest was July the 7th of this year for a probation violation. 3 probation violations and 1 FTA, nothing further to report.
Thank you. State?
Yes, Judge. The state is going to recommend a signature bond in this case, a stay away from Georgia Tech. This actually happened at the 800 Atlantic Drive address. No contact with the victims. Their names are Ellen, last name Liu. And the second victim name is spelled Gvan, T as in Tom, SA. Last name is Gutishvilli. Your Honor, this defendant was seen on surveillance at the incident location, taking a bicycle that belonged to victim Liu and a bicycle tire that belonged to the other victim.
All right, PD Abden?
No objection, so long as the signature bond is through the jail, Your Honor. He does have a good mailing address, understands his obligation to return to court, does not object to a stay away, no further contact. He does not know these people. And he's also disabled, Your Honor. He's on a fixed income. And so I am requesting that signature bond be through the jail.
All right, I'm going to order a $4,000 signature bond through the jail. That'll be $2,000 on each charge. I'm going to order a stay away from all of Georgia Tech. That's a very vast area. It's pretty wide. So I don't believe the defendant is a student there, so you don't need to go anywhere near and around Georgia Tech. I'm going to order no further contact with the victims, Ellen Liu, and the other victim, Gutishville, is the last name. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
You have a different phone.
That should conclude that case.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Judge, that's it. We're completed here in courtroom 2. I did have a quick question
Yes.
for
Okay, so
position 8. What was the breakdown? I know it was a $5,000 good bond, but what was the breakdown?
What do you have, Miss Bridgewater?
It's a total of a $5,000 good bond on charge 1, $2,000, charge 2, $1,000, and charge 3, $2,000.
Thank
These
you.
are surety bonds.
Thank you, Ms. Holly.
You're welcome.
All right,
We're completed here in courtroom 2, Judge.
good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Okay, are we ready?
A good short day from yesterday. Good, we need it.
Okay, very good. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is October the 26th. Position number 1 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,500 good bond. Position 2, also SAP calendar with a total $5,000 good bond. Position 3 is, let me get to it, reset further notice with a total $8,000 SOB through the jail. 4, reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through the jail. 5, reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through the jail. Position 6, reset further notice with a $4,000 SOB through the jail. 7, SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. And position 8, SAP calendar with a total $5,000 good bond. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
No,
ma'am.
Your Honor, we do have
Mhm.
2 pad orders, 2 releases to pad. I don't know if we're going to be handling those on the calendar. I just wanted to make the court aware.
From yesterday or today?
Today, those people are not on the calendar because I believe they're not accused.
It should actually be, good afternoon, Your Honor. It should actually be
Good
3, Ms. Abden.
3, I apologize.
Miss Holly, what do we normally do? They can just send them over to you
Well-
to process through me, or I'm concerned that they're not on this calendar, and I guess and they're not accused, but Miss Sorry, what do you think?
The state will be consenting to a signature bond in those cases to be released to PAD. We are not accusing them at the moment.
Okay. So I don't know that I've had that before. It's always a first for everything. So if you want, send them to Miss Holly Bridgewater and she'll put them in the stack for me to sign. So that'll be fine.
Thank you,
Your
Your Honor.
If I clarify that, I think it is a UJR that we are gonna use as a language instead of SOB bond, since it is
Oh,
not used.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we'll use that language. Who's drafting?
Should
We
be
will
the defense.
We are, yeah.
Oh, the state is drafting? Okay,
The
make sure-
defense.
The
sorry,
defense is, Your Honor.
good, all right. Just send them to Miss Holly. There are some people that send things to me directly. I don't kind of like that, even though it may be urgent, because I want to make sure that the clerk's office is keeping up. And sometimes I may get busy and not see it. So just make sure you send them through them. They will get them to me immediately and I will sign them and I know your days to pick up, or is it Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something, Pat?
There,
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am, Monday through Thursday. Well, we will pick up Monday through Friday, but no referrals on Fridays.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that is good. Miss Holly will get them to me.
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.